Hello everyone, this is the Goal Z. It is a 7-pin black belt lock, very tricky. And it has two little balls inside that center the plug, which is it's a Goal classic. And here's the bitting. You can see two very high cuts, a low cut, medium, medium, low, medium. This lock actually gave me a lot of trouble. For the first time I picked it, I spent a good, would have had to be like at least like 50 minutes just trying to find out what worked and what didn't. And it turns out that I need a few hooks. Something pretty normal to set most things, something a little deeper to set the stuff at the front, as well as the last pin, and a general use hook to jiggle test. So we'll begin. You hit some stuff. The key with this lock is, of course, light tension. Things like this last pin really like light tension. Inside of here is a mix of, let me get this into focus, there's a mix of spools, gins, and standards, though of course in the black belt variant there is only 1 or 0 standard pins. As I said, very difficult, requires extremely fine tension control. And the spools inside are tricky. If you don't have light enough tension, they won't even move. And if you let them counter-rotate too much, you'll drop a lot of stuff. So jiggle testing with relatively heavy tension. And again, jiggle test, find a flat hook is to jiggle test with. This lock has counter milling under and over milling on top. And there's just a right pain in the ass sometimes. So I think I'm getting the majority of the stuff out of the milling now. Yep. Just a pin 2 there. Sounded like I dropped a lot of stuff there. I expected it was mostly just over milling that I had dropped. I might want to use this flat tipped hook. Yeah, it's real tricky, but it jiggles super nicely if you go testing. And again, not where I was before. I might use this deeper hook because it feels like 7 is. Give me something. Yeah, you see this super deep false set? We'll test everything again. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Drop some stuff again. Drop a bit more. Again, it's bulk, down to tension. Yeah. Back to the overmilling step. Which, yeah, it's just pin 2. This pin 2 is really quite quite troubling. I think I got it set there. Gotta feel all this stuff now. I didn't get it set. That's probably set though. Seven, 6, 5, 4 maybe needs to be set. 1, 2 feel set. That's 4. But I dropped 2. This 2 being such a high set is really challenging. Just make sure everything else is set. It's just this pin 2, it's such a pain. Maybe it's playing nice now. 4 and 5 out of the milling. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. 2 is still giving me feedback, which is not ideal. Ah, there we go. I think I had maybe just overset it a bit. Not sure. 9 minutes is not bad. I will be careful, of course, with this cutting. Remove this. Certainly it's more approachable than the what's the lock called? Sorry. The Asus 700. The balls definitely help in terms of manually counter-rotating. You don't really need to do as much. There we are. 7 springs. Now, let's just show this. So, something interesting is that these pins all have little lips on the inside. This is because in small format Japanese locks like this, they need to be able to hold the springs in. So, I'll actually show you on this first pin, because you need to show orientation, because, again, these pins are things like gins. In pin 1, you can see that this is a spool. It comes out like this. It's a solid side on this side. Oy! The fuck did that go? I'll find it eventually, but the idea is that on one side of the pin... Oh, I found it. It's over here. As I said, on one side of the pin, there is a hollow side, and on this side of the pin it's solid. So the solid part goes towards the Bible, as I showed, and the hollow side allows the springs to go in. Key pins, they're tricky because, again, there is a tiny bit of a taper at the top, much like the ASCII 700, and there is a small little mushrooming section as well, so they get caught up pretty easily. Pin 2. Again, it's got that hollow thing at the top, and it's a gin. That'll be why it was so tricky to set. As I said, the milling in this is very effective, but the balls definitely make it easier to counter-rotate out of. Maybe I'll just do the tops first. Pin 3 is a standard, the only standard in this lock. Pin 4 is another gin. Pin 5 is a spool. Pin 6 is another gin. This one's made of steel, obviously for drill protection of some kind. And pin 7 is another spool. Again, these spools do not like to push out at all unless you're using super light tension. The tolerances in this thing are incredible. So we'll dump out the key pins. Pin 2, pin 3, now that's super long. Key pin, now there, pin 4, pin 5, well, we'll keep it together then. Pin 6 and pin 7, right at the back. Let's see if I can't get that out with a pick. If you saw my pack lock video, you will be happy to know I did find my tweezers. Again, the core moves just like this, and you'll hear it click into place because of the ball bearings. On the back are two Japanese style Phillips heads, which means I need a different bit, which I probably should have prepared earlier. Now, which one's the Japanese bit? This one. I probably should have actually kept something in here to be able to keep it steady, but it's fine. The balls do well enough, I think. There's some somewhat long screws. Now, this is a lock with attitude, and I'll show you why. Because if ever you gut this lock and you slide out the core, you'll see at the 3 o'clock and the 6 o'clock directions there are these holes. And I hope you saw the balls inside, because there are ball bearings. And I will have just dropped one. Oh dear. Well, you saw them both at the beginning when I was spinning the core and at the end there, so you'll have to take my word for it. They are sprung, as you saw, from it exploding out. They index the core. There are these little holes here for construction keying through 2 through 6, and we can see there is both undermilling on core on both sides, of course, which carry the gins as well as the spools quite often, as well as a gratuitous amount of overmilling, which is pretty tricky. It's flattened the core for uniformity, but otherwise that was a goal Z. Thanks for watching. I'm going to try and find that ball.